Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. So happy New Year's Eve, everyone. It's a really special night, isn't it? It's a night you can go out, get drunk, take drugs, have sex, and nobody really judges you for it because it's New Year's Eve. It's got to be done, isn't it? I like to look back on New Year's Eve of the year that's gone before us. It's been a very interesting year for me personally. I've been continuing to develop the first English-speaking dramas on Cypriot TV. I recently was commissioned to write and direct and star in my own action film here in Cyprus. The action genre for me is a very special thing, having grown up on Indiana Jones, James Bond films, Rambo, Commando, so I love the action kind of genre. And I really want to bring back the kind of 80s feel that we had, the excitement. I don't really like modern day action movies. I think they're just lifeless. So I want to bring back the action, the fun, of that. So that's what I've been doing this year. But I can only look at this year in terms of films. So I've got all the films I've purchased here. Now I've purchased others on Amazon Prime. But what we're going to do is to look back on this year, is to actually look at the films I've purchased. They're right behind me, but first, I need a drink. This is vodka and Red Bull. Cheers. Happy New Year's Eve. And I wish good things for you for 2019. Now, it's also been a pretty weird year because this is the year I decided to do a YouTube channel. So back in June, I purchased this beautiful thing here. It's a Lenovo laptop. And that's all I purchased. I didn't purchase a microphone, mainly because I didn't know what type of microphone to purchase. I did try and I'll be honest. I purchased a mic and it doesn't work on this. So it was a very cheap mic, right? So can't use that. And then I kind of did get one of these cameras that you can put on top of the laptop. I put it, but it was crap, and this camera is actually better. So I gave up. I don't have a clue. So let's look back on this year with the films that I've bought. Right, so what we got first? This is like a lucky dip. Oh, good one. Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay. I do like my DC animated movies. This is such a good film, right? It's got blood. It's got violence. It's a 15. So this is no Disney, let's give everyone a message. This is really good. This is probably better than the live-action Suicide Squad. I quite like the live-action Suicide Squad, but this was absolutely fantastic. So enjoyable. I might watch it tonight. Let's face it, some of us are not going out tonight. We're just going to be watching movies and getting drunk on our own. But I will go out later about 2 a.m. But first, let's continue with the celebrations, right? So what we got next? Batman Ninja. Batman Ninja wasn't really for me. I quite liked the animation. I liked what they were doing with Batman within this story. But no, it wasn't really for me. Not my cup of tea. Not a bad film. It's not something that I think is a terrible or load of rubbish. It just wasn't for me, to be honest with you. Now, I want you to comment down below. And what I'll be doing, I'll be premiering this. And I'll be watching this as it premieres. So I want you to comment as we talk. Because this is us nerds just talking about what kind of films we purchased this year. So that's that. What's next? Oh, one of my favourites. Constantine, City of City of Demons, the movie. I really loved this. Honestly, I love this. And actually, I haven't even opened this because I've got this on Amazon Prime. And that's how I watched it. I should really have watched it on here by now, but I don't want to break the seal. But I love John as Constantine. One of the biggest crimes that was done to this actor. Sorry, his name's not John. The character's name is John Constantine. Matt Ryan is fabulous as this character. And to be honest with you, I really enjoyed this. This guy deserves his own show. Putting him on the dumbed-down Legends of Tomorrow is the biggest crime of all. This character played by this guy shouldn't be on the CW. He should be on at 10 p.m. once a week doing his Constantine thing. This is what Constantine should be. It was so good, and I really, really enjoyed this film, and I want to see more of these animated movies, and I want to see him. You know what? Fuck the series. He deserves a movie. We want Constantine as part of the DCEU. How about this? Constantine, directed by Zack Snyder. Hey, they could give it to him. No one will moan about it being too dark. Imagine Zack doing Constantine with Matt. I would absolutely love that. Great movie. So what's next? What's next? Oh, this is one of my favourite films of this year. The Death of Superman. Now, years ago, they did another kind of Doomsday, The Death of Superman, didn't they? Animated version. And I actually quite like it. I really enjoyed that. Not everyone's cup of tea, but this was really, really special. And yes, I actually do have this on Prime, but I did watch it on Blu-ray as well. This was so well done. And what's so brilliant about this? You've actually got other Justice League members in it as well. The whole aspect of this, of his relationship with Lois in this, there's a lot of nuance in this animated film that's actually rated 12. And I can't wait for the sequel to this, which is going to be out in the new year, very early on. So I'm really, really excited. But this is brilliant. I'm a massive Superman fan. He is my boy. He is my superhero. So I'm really glad he's doing well on animation, if not in live action. But I do expect a Man of Steel 2 to be commissioned in the new year. Fingers crossed, right? So that's really exciting. What's next? A dud. Now, this is Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now, the first thing I notice is that Evangeline Lilly's Wasp is in front of Ant-Man, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, instead of actually having them central, they want to make the point, because Disney and the MCU are becoming very woke, right? That she's the dominant character in this film. It's a shame, really, but he shines over her for sure. I don't think her character was done badly, but she also wasn't particularly that interesting of a character. Now, this film's meant to be about her mother. Her mother's been missing for years. I don't think they fleshed out her mother play. Michelle Pfeiffer is a fabulous actor, and they really did underuse her in this film. And, you know, I've said this before here on YouTube, this film should not have come, you know, after Infinity War. It's so underwhelming. This should have been before Infinity War, no question about it. So we won't waste too much time on that. Right, and here we are. Avengers Infinity War. Listen, I'm a DC man. I'm a DCEU man, but I've got all the MCU movies and I enjoy them. I like them. I think they're okay. I don't think I'll remember them or think about them in 30, 40 years' time if I'm still alive. But this is such a good season finale, a climax to this series of films, part one of this series of films. This is such a good film. And this film is groundbreaking in the sense that this film, this superhero film, actually focuses on the villain. This is Thanos' film. This is not Tony Stark's film. This is not Steve Rogers' film. This is not Black Widow's film. This is not Bruce Banner's film. This is about Thanos and his reasoning of what he's doing. You know, he's planning to kill half the world's population. So it's an amazing story. And this did cause a lot of discussion. Is what he's doing right to save a world by killing half the population? I think if you have to kill half the population to save the world, is the world worth preserving? Now, that's another narrative we can talk about. It really was a good film, but I've also said this to you before, right? That, how can I put it? You're killing off half your characters, and it's meant to be, ooh, this is tragic, this is sad. But we all know they're coming back in the next film. So it's not really that. For me, the stakes they create are fake stakes because, as I say, they're going to come back in the next film. So anyway, apart from that, and something else that really frustrated me in this film is seconds of the Incredible Hulk, and this BS that Banner couldn't. The Hulk was too scared, so Banner couldn't turn into the Hulk. I think this is about the actor who plays Banner. I think he wanted more screen time, and I think they agreed that it should just be the David Banner, or Bruce Banner, should I say, in this movie. I think it's a bad mistake. Too many people haven't made an issue out of it because we can't question the almighty Kevin Feige MCU. But it is a very, very good event film. As a film itself, I don't think it's great. But as a final part of this first chapter of the MCU movies, it is something extremely special. And there is no question about that. So, Jurassic World. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. In fact, this is crazy, right? I've got this on 4K. I haven't even opened it because I've also got this on Prime Video. I thought it was really, look, it's entertaining. It's exciting. I love the idea of the dinosaurs escaping to the real world and changing the whole kind of perspective of the way life will be in the next film. I think it's a fabulous idea. It's a good film, not a great film. It's pretty predictable. It's just, look, it's basically adventure-based. There's not really any fleshing out of characterization or anything like that. But look, this film is typical of Hollywood today. You get a film, you watch it, and you forget about it as soon as you leave the cinema. When I was a kid in the 80s, right, you left the cinema, you were talking about the film for the next 2 months. This doesn't happen anymore. And this is a great example of that. So we put that down. I've got a lot to say about this film. Incredibles 2. I really loved the first Incredibles. I thought it was a beautiful film. So good. And really at a time before superheroes were totally fashionable. So this sequel comes at a time where superhero movies are at the peak of their height in popularity. But I nicknamed this film The House Husband. This is proof that Disney has become very, very woke. And there's a couple of kind of lines of dialogue that proves that. It's very pro-woman, little bit anti-man. It is a good film. It is enjoyable. It's not a classic. It's another one you forget as soon as you leave the cinema. But it's a good piece of entertainment. I love these characters. I love the director and what he does with these films. But ultimately, the kind of what they're trying to do with gender equality now, these messages they're trying to push, has started with this film. And there lies the problem. But it's a good film. But you just won't remember it afterwards. Which is no different to most films we watch today. Now, this is the elephant in the room. Solo, a Star Wars story. I haven't broken the seal of this one either. I've seen it on Prime Video. This is a very average, generic film. But I was excited to see Darth Maul in this film. I love Darth Maul. And I love him in Clone Wars. And I was excited to see where he'd pop up again after this film. Obviously, that's not going to happen now. Personally, you know what? I mean, apparently they're not doing these Star Wars stories anymore. But if I was them, I would do Darth Maul, a Star Wars story, or Maul versus Obi-Wan, a Star Wars story. We know the history they have from, you know, the Phantom Menace and Clone Wars. That would be amazing. You would get, look, Lucasfilm, you would get butts in seats. And I'm changing the subject. Very average film. Not disappointing. Not great. This film is a flop because, firstly, nobody asked for this film. People only see Harrison Ford as Han Solo. It was a cheap way to try and make some easy money. It was very lazy by Disney. I've said it in many videos before. When Disney bought the Star Wars franchise, I thought we were going to get something special. A film a year. It was very exciting, but they've done nothing with it because they haven't used their imagination. I really hope that they lose the whole franchise. It's going to be difficult because I just don't think their hearts are in it. And if all you're going to do is push your ideology onto Star Wars, that's not right because you're disappointing a hell of a lot of fans. who have got Star Wars in their hearts. Right, what's next? Black Panther. Now, I quite like this film. It's not the greatest film I've ever seen. It's not a groundbreaking film. All right, if you want to say, yes, it's a black director. It's a predominant black cast. Yeah, well done, bravo. But it takes more than that to impress me. So let me explain to you, and I've explained to you before, but we'll go through it again. This is the year in review, right? Black Panther is a good, interesting film for 3/4. Then, unfortunately, what happens is... let me start again, sorry, I got distracted. What happens is the final act is really lame. And I've said this again, and if you haven't seen what I've said about this before, I'll tell you again. It reminds me of the third act of The Phantom Menace. Now, I don't mind the third act of The Phantom Menace, but seeing how all the cool kids hate the prequels, right? I'm surprised nobody noticed how identical the third act to this film is, right? To A Phantom Menace. And, you know, Killmonger's all right. 3/4 through this film, I'm quite interested in his story. But in the end, he becomes a very, very useless, pointless villain. And it's disappointing. And I know a lot of critics and a lot of fans loved Killmonger. Unfortunately, if you compare him to Orm in Aquaman, he doesn't stand up. Orm is so much better. And I prefer his motivations too. Black Panther is a good, exciting, entertaining film, but it's not the groundbreaking fare that critics and MCU fans would have you believe. So, that's that. Right, and this is the last one I bought this year. What have we got here? Deadpool 2. Right, Deadpool 2. I really enjoyed the first Deadpool. I thought it was unique, it was different, it was bold, it was brash. The violence and the action was outstanding. This film, Deadpool 2, is okay. It is entertaining. The action is still great. Ryan Reynolds is outstanding, and I want to see more of him as Deadpool. This isn't a bad film. This is just a really, really average sequel. But I can't be too disappointed because every other film I've seen this year is very average. So I haven't purchased it yet. We need to talk about Aquaman as we're here. Aquaman isn't as good as Man of Steel, isn't as good as Batman v Superman, isn't as good as Wonder Woman, right? But it is a very good solo film, and it's now tracking for $1 billion globally by the end of its run. I really enjoyed Aquaman. I thought it was a really, really good film, and I would say it's as good as any MCU solo movie for sure. I don't think there's any MCU solo movie where you can say, well, that was better. This is a really great adventure, and that's what it is. This film really changes a few things and changes Hollywood's thinking. They've now realised that people want to see alpha male characters. I know I've gone through this before, but I have to say this in a different way. Because they've noticed women are now going to watch a film with an alpha male character played by an alpha male actor. This changes everything. They have been busting a gut to attract females to strong female-led movies, and it hasn't really worked, apart from Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman isn't successful because she's a female lead. Wonder Woman's successful because it's a great film, directed by a great director, and she is part of the Holy Trinity. She's one of the most famous, popular, successful superheroes of all time, right? That's why she's successful. But with Aquaman, you've got women and girls and men flocking to see this film. This changes everything. This is a massive thing. So massive. And you'll be seeing the DCEU doing kind of a lot more male-led superhero movies with people like Jason Momoa. Not that there's anyone like Jason Momoa, but you'll be seeing that because they know now that they can attract women as well. This is Aquaman's broke the third wall in that aspect. So this will change things, and they won't be talking about it publicly because publicly it'll be strong female leads, you know, whatever you want to call it, you know, they want movies with a bit of everything, you know. But in reality, if a film with an alpha male character played by an alpha male actor can bring in $1 billion globally, Warner Brothers are not going to ignore that. So talking about male leads, there was a little show called Bodyguard this year. If you go through my album, you'll actually find it, my reviews. This is one of the best series I've seen in years because TV, like modern day film, is very average and very forgettable. But Bodyguard is written by the genius that is Jed Mercurio, the same bloke who's behind Line of Duty. And it is genius, it is tense. The character is fleshed out, something very rare, beautifully fleshed out. And it's really funny, in a year where they cast a woman to play Doctor Who, you've got, again, a male-led TV drama that's captured the imagination of everyone. Girls, women, men, older people, younger people, everyone watch this. Its finale got over 17 million live viewers. That is extraordinary. It's a massive achievement. So the entertainment industry may not want to admit it, but male leads are still the best commodity they have. Now, I've got nothing against female leads, nothing. But you've got to do a better job of representing those leads. Because right now, you are not offering people the opportunity to watch something special. Female leads are not particularly attracting everyone. And for that to work, they've got to attract everyone. You've got to make a better effort. You can't just cast a woman, any woman, put her in front of the camera and just say, I'm a woman, I'm strong, men are bad. You've got to be a little bit mature and talented than that. So the entertainment industry in 2018, I would say mostly have failed their audience, have failed their consumer. Some of the films I loved here, I stand by that, but it really isn't good enough. We need more. We need more from the entertainment industry. We need an entertainment industry that puts entertainment and creativity first. Well, I hope you enjoyed my year in review. Where's my drink? Let's have a little bit of a drink. You know what? I've got a feeling 2019 is going to be a very special year. I've got a feeling 2019 could be the year of the Snyder Cut. Could be the year that Man of Steel 2 is announced. I think that Shazam could reach $1 billion. Potentially like Aquaman. If you're a DC fan, it's going to be a very, very special year. But it's already been a special year for DC fans. So many beautiful announcements. A Blue Beetle film is being developed. Plastic Man, I'm very excited to see what that would look like. A Supergirl film is in development as well. Of course, we want to see Superman in that film, and we want to see Superman, played by Henry Cavill, in a Superman film of his own. And that is something we haven't spoke about in this year in review. This year was the year where the Hollywood Reporter broke that Henry Cavill would no longer play Superman. In fact, they told us that Superman was going to be rested. I remember reporting it, doing the video, not knowing what to think. But ultimately now where I stand is this, from what I'm hearing. Warner Brothers were never going to give Superman a rest. But they are rejigging the character and redeveloping him. I think it'll be very interesting to see who writes the next Superman movie and what direction they go with that. I do believe we will get an announcement this year, but it's been a crazy year. And of course, 2018, the fight for the Snyder Cut of Justice League has become bigger and bigger. And I think we were really getting somewhere until the Wall Street Journal came out. And a lot of fans kind of stepped away from the movement because they thought it was useless. I suspected that maybe Warner Brothers put Fritz, or whatever his name is, up to it. But there seems to be a different kind of message coming from Warner Brothers, not officially. We've heard Jason Momoa be positive about the Snyder Cut. There's a lot of people in this industry who are not even connected to Warner Brothers who want to see this cut. What happened to Zack Snyder was a betrayal. and Warner Brothers know that. He deserves for us to see the Snyder Cut. We deserve to see it because we were robbed of a great movie. I want you all to have a very, very happy New Year. And don't worry, I'll be back on New Year's Day. I'll let you know how I got on tonight. Have a good one.